Hey, we want to welcome everybody to another Collage podcast. We are excited today. So, we have, in my world, somebody we've known for a while, but then I would also say this is a special guest today because she is visiting us. She's been away for a little bit, and she'll kind of explain that. But today we have Meg here. And so we're going to, Meg, tell us a little bit about you. Who is Meg?
I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a Yankee. I moved to Texas when I was 7. Grew up with a lot of foster kids. I was adopted at 3 years old. And, yeah, I've lived in Texas for a long time, so
Okay.
refried Texan.
Okay, so that means we're going to backtrack real quick. So, born in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yes.
Okay, and would not have much memory of Michigan? A little bit?
Not really. Maybe a couple memories.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then came down to Texas
When I was 7.
when you were 7, and then raised up with a lot of foster siblings. So, how many
Yes.
foster siblings?
Oh, gosh. Like in and out, probably over 200.
Oh, and you stayed at a place.
No, I was adopted in Michigan when I was 3 by my aunt and her husband.
Okay.
I had a brother and a sister adopted with me, and then I had 3 sisters and a brother that were already there. So I have 9 siblings.
So 9 biological siblings. Yeah, or foster.
5 of us are adopted, and the other 4 are biologicals.
Okay. Okay. So it came down, and in what part of Texas?
Mahia.
Hey, I'm sorry about that. Okay. Now, so
only for a year.
In Mahia, Texas, and then you grew up in Mahia, Texas?
No. We moved a lot because
Okay.
of the foster kids. Let's see. I went to Mahia, Coolidge, Lorena, Bristol, Eddy, Moody. Moved all over the place. I've lived in Waco, Killeen, Belton, Temple.
Okay. So then in the foster system, from age what to you aged out in the system?
I was 2 when I went into foster care and 3 when I was adopted.
Okay.
And then they had several, probably closer to 300 foster kids from the time I was adopted till I grew up.
Who had 300 kids? That's what confused me.
Foster kids.
Okay.
My adopted parents.
They had that
They were
came
foster
in and
parents.
out.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Got it.
Yes.
Okay. So then that's a world that you've known quite a bit.
Yes. Yes, I've seen all the evil things that can happen to kids. I've seen every race, every background, everything coming in and out of there.
Golly. Okay. And like that, if we've learned anything, just to everybody out there listening, make sure, we always have to say this, we're in a little place called Temple, Texas. So not Mahia, but it's in this area. So we're right in the central part of Texas, so kind of right in the middle, kind of a small town, not teeny, but it's small. And that's where we're at. And then what Feed My Sheep is, like where we're at, is we provide services to a lot of different kind of people here. But like Meg just got done, we got Tejas in here watching today, but they provided and helped serve lunch. And we probably serve 150 to 200 people today. Every day we do lunch 7 days a week. 212. So that's every day we do that, and different people come and volunteer and serve here. And the only commonality, and there's not a commonality, but many of the people that come through the door that we served lunch today would tell me the same sentence is when I was a foster child. They came through the system.
Yeah.
So many of them. And some good stories and some not so good. Some foster families are very good and some are very, very difficult.
Mine was difficult.
Yours was difficult.
The only thing I remember from mine, I was 2 years old, is them breaking a 2x4 over my sister's butt.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's some horrific ones. There's some good ones.
So like that. And we're not going to, like, okay. That is absolutely staggering to me. Like that one, I had another young lady who was in here, and she was in foster system, and same deal. She remembers her sister getting every one of her fingers broken as a form of punishment because she was playing with a toy she wasn't supposed to play with, and she had to watch this occur to her. No, it occurred to her. She took the punishment for her sister because she was 4, the sister was 2, and she knew that she was going to get in trouble. And so she showed me sitting where you are, Meg. She was, and just the same as I would say, hey, did you see it rained last night? She said, oh, you've never noticed my hands, have you? And I'm like, well, no, I've never looked at your hands. I'm sorry. And she held up her fingers, and every one of her fingers at the base joint down here, they made a little bit of a jog, kind of, they weren't completely straight because the mom broke them there, broke them there, broke them there, broke them there, every one of her fingers. And you're going, what kind of world do we live in? And then to hear this, you watched your sister get hit with a 2x4. That broke on a 2-year-old.
For talking.
For talking, yeah. Normal punishment, isn't it? That's sarcasm.
It was for them, yeah. For them it was.
Okay. Okay, out of that. Okay, so anybody, like, so for me, I'm hearing the story, and I am trying to figure out how in the world am I supposed to function normal out of just hearing that occurred, much less to watch it occur to somebody you care about and you're a kid. And I'm guessing that if the abuse like that would have occurred that way, then some would have come your way too.
I got hit with it.
Did you?
Yeah. She was the last one, and it broke over hers, so.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Golly. Okay, so let me ask on that, not in that realm, but we're talking childhood before we get, because there's so much that I want to talk to about the adult, but we got to go a little bit to the child. So just for fun, let's start with, if I said, Meg, tell me your happiest childhood memory. And childhood could be whatever in your context, but tell me the happiest memory you have as a child.
Me and my brother.
Okay, tell me about that.
It was just always me and him, like always me and him against the world. We'd always go outside and play, and we just did our own thing because even though we were adopted, things weren't great. It wasn't. It might not have been physical abuse per se, but it was still not great.
Okay.
So I just remember me and him always playing and, I don't know, just making ourselves happy.
And how old is he? Older, younger?
He's 48, and he's here in Temple.
Okay, but so younger than you? Older
No,
than
he's
you?
40.
Older.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's
yeah,
older.
yeah.
Hey.
Okay, yeah, okay. I'm terrible at math. Okay, so older brother, and I'm guessing probably in that sort of a protective, keeping an eye on you type brother. And it's y'all.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're, so we can't forget in this story, you're young kids trying to grow up, but then also have this extra burden of, we got to watch out for each other.
Mm-hmm. We still do.
Still do. I'd imagine that bond doesn't go away. And then at an early age, you learn this horrible fact that the world is not always filled with good people.
No, it's not.
It's not. Okay, unfortunately, there is people that do bad stuff to people that don't deserve bad stuff to happen to them. Okay, so happy memory is you and your brother being together. To have somebody with you in it, it matters.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me, looking back on your childhood, saddest memory you have as a child.
Like how far back as a child?
Whatever.
My saddest memory, and this is a hard one. Okay, I might cry.
Okay.
This is a hard one for me. It was the day that my dad, my adoptive father, started the beginning of sexual abuse.
Okay.
Take it.
That, that's a bad day.
Yeah.
And again, we will say the sentence, the world is filled with some really bad people.
Yeah.
Okay. And just for Just roughly, you were how old when this began?
13.
13. Nice. Okay, and we won't go down that path. Okay, at all. 13. Okay. And so we go into our teenage years, high school, go to Maheo High School?
No. I ended high school in Lorena.
In Lorena.
Well, I quit in the 11th grade.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Due to at 16, I let it out what my dad was doing, and I got thrown out of the house. So
Okay. Yeah.
I've been on my own since.
You've been on your own since you were 16. Mm-hmm. Okay, and you got thrown out of the house because...
I was called a liar.
Yeah, that's right. What else are you going to do?
Yeah.
Come on. And, she's lying, oh, no, I'd never do that. So here you go. You got a horrific situation. You have somebody who comes and goes, it's got to end. And you try to find help for you. And now you're on your own. Tell me what that means for a 16-year-old girl. Where did you go?
My biological sister kept me with her for probably a month or two. And she asked my parents for the check they were getting for adopting us every month, and they refused, so she threw me out to the streets. Mm. So I've known street life since I was 16.
Okay. Can we talk about that just a hair? Mm-hmm. Okay. You've been on the street for a lot of years. Mm-hmm. So now that you and I are getting older, so I would say it's almost fair. It's fair to say you've been on the streets longer than you've been in the house. Correct. Yeah. Okay, so a majority of your life, this is how you've had to survive. Mm-hmm. Okay. And for those of you who don't know, if you're not watching this, if you're listening to it, you are female.
Yes.
Okay. So I mean, so that in it, so the questions are going to be geared that direction. So let me ask you, what would be the right word? What is the most difficult part about being a lady or female outside on the street? What is
falling asleep at night?
Okay. What does that mean?
That means I've seen the evils that happen out there. I know what happens to women being drugged and raped, and you get afraid to fall asleep.
Okay. So can we not just like here, out of, because Meg is 100% honest, and then, okay, just don't let me forget this. I don't want to get distracted, because I also, when I think of you, Meg, we're going to come to this, the thing that comes back, and I still have on my phone, it's really weird, okay? So I have a picture of you on my phone of when you and I buried your dog.
Boss.
Mm-hmm. Back over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I found out what happened to him, by the way.
Okay, and we'll talk about that. But I remember that day, I remember being out there with you and what occurred, and still breaks my heart. And then I remember, do you remember what you told me after we did that? Okay, you told me after we did that, and I didn't do anything other than I helped you dig a hole. We did this, and we just kind of mourned together. And you said, that might be the nicest thing anybody's ever done for me. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was unbelievably sad. And I'm like, we just buried your dog. Okay, so I don't want to forget that. So Meg and I have known each other, and so out of this, so tell me, out on the streets, just because some people have a perception out on the street that gets like, it's cool, or man, this is awesome, freedom, and whatever this stuff that may come into it. Okay, but let's get the reality of it for a lady or a guy. Like this is neither one, or non-binary, or transitioning this way or that. For any person, the predatory sexual animals out there are horrific.
Yes.
Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay. And so then that is always in the equation. Physical strength, and have I got myself in a bad place over here, and what's going to happen here, and the potential of sexual violence is always there.
Yes.
And then let me ask you this. Did it occur to you while you were out on the street?
There's been times where I was told it happened to me.
Okay.
But the memory of it, when you're drugged like that, you don't remember nothing.
Fair.
And I'm grateful to God for that one.
Okay.
I don't want to remember.
No, agreed. Okay, so Meg is out on the street. Tell me, give me a rough idea what it looks like to survive on. Tell me what a day looks like out on the street. Kind of walk me through a day.
If you went to sleep, you wake up and you don't know where you're gonna eat. You don't know who you can trust that day. You don't know. You just don't know what your day is gonna hold, because I've seen so many things happen out there, like people getting beat up, or I've seen people that got stabbed by each other or cut, and it's just fearful every day that that's gonna happen to you. Mm-hmm. So you just kind of try to stay to yourself and survive, not knowing if you're going to be cold or hot, or just not knowing.
Yeah. So it's a whole lot of not knowing. And then I would imagine sleep. It's not like you're going, well, you can't sleep good because you're always worried who's going to come up on you. Mm-hmm. So then it's a perpetual sense of you're tired, you're wore out. Even when you sleep, you don't sleep well, you don't sleep comfortable. And I imagine, and I can say this because I know guys, then there was probably opportunities to stay inside at places, but there was a cost associated with that.
Yes, always.
Always. Oh, you can stay with me, but that means this. Yes. And sometimes inside is better than outside, but not. Not.
And thank God I was never one that, I never took any of those propositions. So I knew it would happen if I went in.
That's right. But it's always on the table there. And then I watch here always, and this is another sarcasm, these grand Samaritan, like these great, well-meaning guys in their car that'll pull by, that they on finding and seeing somebody who looks like they might possibly be homeless, and they just have this money burning a hole in their pocket that they just really badly want to get rid of, and they would be willing to pay you X amount of dollars to do whatever. Mm-hmm. And you're like, what in the world? And that's but that's just the reality
it is.
Of that world. Just saying the reality doesn't mean that you lived in that world, but that's just the reality of a lady that's in that world. And I would say it's also a reality of a guy that's in that world as well. There's just as many people asking for them to stay at the house, and just as many people that are going to stop on the cars and say this, and somebody transitioning or somebody that's the same. I'm just talking to you because you happen to be female. So we're saying that.
It happens both ways, yes.
It happens. It's the predatory nature of people is horrible.
Evil.
Horrible. Okay, and so you looked that in the eye, and then so let me ask you, out of that, one way of, lack of a better term, maybe to cope with that life and the life that you had, is then substances became part of your world.
Yes.
Okay, so we've known that part of your journey, and we can talk about it because we're not in that part right now.
It's in my past, yes.
It's in your past, and we're just going to briefly touch on it because it's one of my, not pet peeves. I can see both sides of it, but you are not. You're not defined solely by your past. And somebody who's coming out of addiction, I get both of them. There's pride to be saying I haven't done this in this amount of time, but I also would go, it's not even part of me. I don't even speak of that.
Yes.
I can see both, and so, but we're just going to glance at that. So we developed some difficulties with substances and issues.
Yes.
Okay. And so then we will fast forward on up to, it was right about the time that we buried your dog. Mm-hmm. In that time frame, Meg made an unbelievably difficult decision on her own behalf, which was she wanted to get well. And she was tired of living this life that she had been living, And so Meg came and we got some people and that could work together, and through some, it wasn't necessarily even easy to get into a place. And I remember trying to get a physical for you was absolutely a train wreck of difficulty. And there's a doctor out there who I won't say his name so he doesn't get in trouble, who did a big favor for us and came and did a physical here
Yes.
because nobody would do it for you. And we couldn't get, so you're going all these hoops that somebody who's just trying to get well had to jump through to get there. And everywhere you're like going, I was going, good gosh, just get out of her way and let her get the help she needs.
It was definitely obstacles.
Obstacles. And it didn't need to be in this process. And so you're going, okay, but we get you in. And then Meg didn't just get in treatment here, and here being Temple. She went outside of our community, and I won't say, but she went outside of our community into a place that you did not have much support system in that area you went to.
No, you can say the place because more people should go there.
Well, then there you go. Say, where did you go?
Adult and Teen Challenge in San Antonio.
Okay. So Meg went to get help there. Okay. And all you really knew about that place was Denny and Casey said it was pretty good. Mm-hmm. And she went and agreed that I'm going to take a year off of my life and to go to a place that I don't really know anybody. And she did. And then all the people around here, I mean, everybody, don't go and whatever, this and that, because they missed somebody that they could use with and all of this stuff. Okay, and so Meg goes off, and then so many of us are praying for Meg, and to see her now, she's flourished. She's done so well over there. We would get reports from her, different sporting events that you got to go and work at, and she got to go see stuff in the race. Did you go to the racetrack?
NASCAR, yes, I did.
She did.
And motocross. Yep.
So she would send pictures and rub it in. Or somehow I would get pictures of the group that was working, okay, and because she couldn't communicate with people much, and so
outside world.
That's right. Tell me about that experience.
It was a good experience. It was hard at first because everything I knew was here, everybody I knew was here, and there was it was literally a year at the feet of God. Learning about God, learning His truths to battle the lies I had in my head for years. And it was memorizing scriptures and doing schoolwork and just learning to have a relationship with God. And I got to learn how to live with women.
Tell me about that one.
Man, it was rough. It was rough. But we all loved each other. And we went to pro golf tournaments, basketball, football games, NASCAR. I mean, everything you could think of, we went to. And it was just, you have to have the desire to complete that program. I saw a lot of people come and go.
Did you really?
So many people come and go. And they just weren't ready. I mean, it's a lot of work. Like, every day you were sitting at a desk or you were at a produce plant working or on work crews. You didn't get a lot of sleep. And trying to memorize 50 weeks of scriptures and all of Romans 12 was a big thing.
Okay, that's a lot.
It's a lot, but I did it.
Okay, very proud of you.
Thank you.
If nothing else you hear out of this whole podcast, I will tell you so proud.
Thank you.
To hear that and to see your diploma deal, it really does. And so in it, okay, don't take this the wrong way, and I don't mean it the wrong way at all, but I can hear how it would sound. It's so encouraging for us to see somebody care about themselves enough to want to get better and to do the effort. It's nice because sometimes in this world, you can falsely make the sentences and go, man, doesn't anybody want to help themselves? You know, and that's a wrong sentence, and so, and I'm not saying that, but it is an encouragement, like you are an encouragement to even me to go, man, look at what Meg did, and it's not easy. So let me ask you in that, okay, if I said, tell me about some of the truths you learned about God. So put them in words. What's some of the truths that you learned about God there?
That I am wanted, I am seen, and that there's so much more for me in life than I kept saying, this is what God wants for me. That's not what God wanted for me.
No.
And he's opened so many doors for me. I've got a great job. I love life. I used to beg for death before I left here.
Did you
and
really?
I thank him for life every single day now. Like, I used to think death was better than being on the streets and dealing with, but the day I made the decision to get better was the best day of my life.
Very nice. Let me ask you, what made you come to the place to go, I want to make this decision today?
My dog.
Okay, I know.
That was a hard one.
That was a bad day.
Yeah.
That was a bad day. I still remember. I will die remembering that. We were in the office.
Mm-hmm.
You were sitting in that chair. I can still see it in my head. That was a bad, bad day. You were really, really hurting. And it was just, and he had to go to a better place. And then I took him. And then I promised you what? That I would be with him. Mm-hmm. And so I went with him. And we went to the place, and they weren't able to make him well. But then out of that, we had already agreed that then he needed to go peacefully. So we did that. And then we went back over here, and we created a place that you could sit and you could be with him. And then out of that, there was much sadness in that moment, but then much beauty has come out of that. And so I'm not saying that the dog traded his life so Meg could finally make the decision to get better. Not at all. We're not saying that. But even out of that bad, tragic event, God still had good that could come out of it.
Yes. Okay,
and so out of that, Meg goes, I really want to truly live. I want to even see if that's a possibility. First step in that is to go, I don't know what this means to truly be alive, but I just want to see if it's even an option for me. And so you did. And so you went on that. So one of the truths, and I like it, magnificent, that you're wanted. Be pretty easy for somebody in your shoes to go, I've been beat since I was this age. I've been in and out of all these different things. Watch people come and go to believe I'm not even wanted. Be easy to convince yourself that wasn't true. And then, so I like the fact that you saw that and that you're of worth, that God created you and goes, you know what, for the world, that one certainty, like for you, he will in all of eternity, for all of time, only once in the entire landscape of the world, create one of you. That's it. And he stops and says, this is the best Meg I could ever make. And now,
what verse is it? Is it Jeremiah 29:11? I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord.
That's right. Or then Psalm 139. So Psalm 139 is you were intricately woven together in your mother's womb. And God's good and pleasing thoughts about you are innumerable. And you are a magnificent, magnificent work that he has created. So these are truths. And it's not like God puts them in things that we can't even understand. He puts it plain and simple. Okay? But we have a hard time believing that. Like the world teaches us, Jeff, that's crap. You're not good. You're not special. You're not this or that. And
God.
God doesn't believe that. So let me ask you, we know the truths that you learned. What lies did you learn that you were living that you've come to find out that are lies?
That God didn't have anything good for me, that he didn't see me. He didn't, that he created me just for people to beat on, or and I don't know if you remember the day that my head was split open.
I do. Yep.
And that was one of the lies I always believed, like that's what I deserve. That's
Yep.
And I know better. It's not true. It's not what he had for me. It's the life I was choosing to live that caused that.
Agreed. And you can see on this side how you could look at your life and go, well, yeah, I somehow, lack of a better term, I somehow deserve that. Well, yeah, I mean, it's just normal for somebody to hit me with a 2x4. I deserved it, because I talked back or whatever. And then somebody who's not in that picture would go, it's not normal. Meg, you're not supposed to get hit like that.
Yeah.
That's not how people are supposed to be. But you could see, well, that's just how it's supposed to be. Well, yeah. And then if I try to let anybody know about it, well, then I'm going to lose the little I have. Even though this house is crappy and everything sucks here, it's still a house. And I got a place. And if I say anything, then I'm going to lose this too. And you're like, oh, you could see where this path goes. So it is really great to hear out of this that at this process that you understand the truth of how you were divinely put together by God. And then and I would say, I would even maybe a step further to go, he didn't just put you together to get beat. I would even, and I'm not going to put emotions because I can't claim to be God, and I would even go so far as to say his heart breaks when these things happen to Meg. He hurts, and he would hurt when Meg is hurting that same way, and not sitting there going, whew, yep, that's how I made her. Yep, congratulations, good. Yep, I put her to get beat. No, he hurts because that's not the world and how he wanted it to be. And he's like, no, Meg, I came so my son could come so you would have life and life abundantly. So, all of that, a lot of path. We've had a lot of this. And yeah, I know you're going to tell me I still owe you money for picnic tables.
You do. We'll call it a donation.
No, see, I don't forget. I remember things. Things stick in my head. But Meg is an extremely good artist. She has a piece of art that she doesn't know that I keep that you painted. Yeah, for sure.
Really?
What would I have taken? It's from a different chapter, same chapter time. Let me see. Can you remember? You got a couple signs floating around still that you painted.
I've seen it too.
What does it say?
Yeah.
Tell me what it says.
One says, "Oh crap."
No, it doesn't say "oh crap."
No, I just read it yesterday. Self-love isn't selfish. Self-love isn't selfish. It's necessary.
Okay, and then what's the other one?
I think the one you have is
That's right.
real. Fake love is worse than fake love is. Wait.
That's right. You got it.
Fake love is worse than real hate.
That's right.
And it's true.
I kept that one because you painted that, and I thought it was a profound sentence. And I remember the chapter that you had painted it for. I think it had to do over some boy that you were sweet over. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just joking with you on that. But that sentence, I'd never heard such a phrase. And the phrase, fake love is worse than real hate. What does that mean?
That means I would rather somebody just hate me than to pretend to love me and me give them all my love that I have and then just take advantage of it and abuse it, and I'd rather you just hate me.
Yeah. Like that. And then to think, well, that's the world we live in.
Yes, it is.
Yep. And that people, whatever, this boy or this girl or whatever, and then they insert some phrase, if you love me, you would do this, or just do this if you care about me, or do this if you care about me, or do this. And you're going, man, just go ahead and own it. You hate me.
Yes.
I'll just deal with that. Don't pretend like you care about me and you care anything that happens to me. Your motives are selfish. You don't care about me. Just own it. So I kept, it is what it is. And so I'll take it. Oh, this one, stay away from him. He hates me. I know that there's plenty of people that are like, man, I can't stand Jeff. And some that are like, man, I talk to them and they think if they're nice to me that I don't know that anytime I turn my back on them, they're sticking me in the back anytime they have a chance to. I know. And not that I know everything, but you're like, just own it. You don't like me.
Yeah.
You don't like anything about me, and you want to see me fail. Okay. Let's get on with it.
Yes.
Okay. So we got that. So now, Meg, let's go back. What diploma did you just show me that I was so proud of?
What was it? Margaret Maldonado successfully completed all the academic and spiritual.
Margaret Maldonado.
Yes. Academic and spiritual
Yeah.
classes that were prescribed by Adult and Teen Challenge of Texas.
You finished it.
I finished.
Yeah.
I even got my finisher's hat.
Did you really? What is a finisher's hat?
It says Adult and Teen Challenge and has finisher across it because I finished.
Nice.
Not
Okay.
many people do.
No. So one thing, like I will go on record, okay, in a nice way, of all, Meg, the thing I really liked the most, very, 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 very determined.
Yes.
Maybe, that's something you probably struggle with too. Meg's going to do what Meg wants to do.
Yes.
Okay, and so,
Maybe a little
and that's
still
going to be a
struggle with that.
manifestation of it. I mean, like, she's going to do what she's going to do.
In a different way, though, now.
That's- okay.
I do what God tells me to do.
Agreed.
My way didn't work.
Yep. And what was interesting for me, I don't know people, and you can't bet on certainty. The minute you went, okay, I knew if I could get Denny to actually get you there. I was more worried about Denny and her driving than anything.
Scary.
Yeah, scary. Okay, that's a whole other discussion. Okay, but I knew if Meg and then Denny getting you checked in, okay, and the steps.
I tried to leave. She didn't let me.
Okay, I knew if you made day one, okay, Meg would go to the bitter end.
Yes.
She would not finish. There was never a doubt. Mine was if we just get her in there and get her started one day, Meg will take over and she'll run that thing and she'll finish it and finish it well.
And I did, with no
And you
time
did.
added.
Did, and so I was so proud to hear that. And then, part of me is like, for us, there's a part of me that's like, I'm hoping to hear about Meg's life from afar a little bit.
And you will.
I know. And then what incredible things that God is going to do in your life going forward. Like the tool chest that you have to work with is really, really big.
Yes.
And then this determination and heart and focus that you have, and then always for you, like always, your compassion and empathy. You hurt when other people hurt.
Yes.
And that was used against you some in this world.
A lot.
Yeah. So that was a tool that people could use against you. But now out in a different world, it will be something you will change lives.
Thank you.
I really do. I mean, I believe that because, like you understand what hurt a lady may be going through. You do,
Yes,
and you
definitely.
understand that there, as long as you're still alive, there's not a choice that you have made that there is not grace and forgiveness for.
Yes.
So there's no mistake too big that, God's going to turn his back on me now, no matter what somebody thinks. Okay, the world may try, okay, but God won't. Your worth to him, it doesn't change on my good days and it doesn't get less on my bad days. He created me, and his love for me was outside of my understanding before I was born, during my life, and after I'm gone. It's just that simple, okay? So, we kind of made a long journey to get here, but we weren't about to let Meg go anywhere without at least getting some words out there. So let me ask you, because there's all kind of people. So this is kind of crazy. And again, I use sarcasm quite a bit. There's some people that are going to be listening to this that they don't have a house tonight. Okay, they're going to be homeless. There's some people that listen to this because Temple, how it's laid out, if you're out there, there's people that live on different sides of the town, and one side of the town, they tend to have a whole lot of money. Okay, and they got everything going together, you know. Yeah. And so, but they're all kind of different people that are listening to this that are having some of the same struggles that you had. Addiction has got a hold of them. Their definition of their self-worth is way skewed, you know, and they believe, you know, maybe they got a lot of money and they're in West Temple, but their husband or their this is got them convinced that they ain't worth crap. Mm-hmm. And they deserve whatever they're putting their way. Well, you deserve this, and you're not worth anything, okay? And maybe they are suffering from addiction. And then there's people here in our world, it's just a little bit easier to see, that are trying to make it day to day on surviving and that suffer from addiction as well, okay? From this side of it, you're not the expert on every person in the world. What would you tell them of why they should even think about taking a chance to make their life better?
Because they are worth it. And we have a strong, mighty God who is waiting for them with his arms open to show them all the blessings he has for them. Yeah. I didn't think I was worth it, but I know better now. Like, he's opened so many doors and blessed me with so much right now that, it's just, I'm out there telling everybody about what God's done for me, no matter where I'm at, whether it's at work, whether it's here, whether I'm just at home. Mm-hmm. They're worthy of it, and he's waiting for them.
Yeah.
He sees everybody.
Yeah. And our worth, like just the base, our worth is not defined whether you got a whole lot of money in your bank account or you got none. Okay? Both of those people are of equal worth to God, and they are both beautiful to God. So it's not, you may be out there with a lot of money going, whoo, I got it dialed in. You can still be having some of the same lies that you're believing. Okay? And so out of that, and then for it, is it scary making that step?
It was.
Yeah.
There's
truth
scary.
in that.
Yes, there was a few times within that first month I was like, I want to go home. Just give me the phone. Let me call him. Nope, you're not calling nobody. I'm like, let me go home. I'll leave. But you're out in the middle. I'm not going nowhere. Mm-hmm. I'm not going. But it was scary. But they said give it 30 days, and I gave it 30 days. And here we are 14 months later. Unbelievable.
Yeah. So we're not going to lie. It's not easy. It is scary. Mm-hmm. It is difficult, and any journey to really meet yourself and to truly come to terms with who you are, it is scary. It is difficult.
It is.
It is. There's no two ways about it. And most of us a lot of us go through a whole lifetime and never take the time to meet ourselves.
I think most people go through life, like people out on the streets, they think God don't see them.
Agreed.
But he does see them. Yeah. He sees every tear, every heartache, everything bad that happens. He sees it, and I know now he saw me, and he pulled me out of a nasty place. And I had somebody ask me today if I ever thought about going back. I was like, not a chance. Like, there's no way. So, but he sees them.
Yeah, he does. He does, and that makes zero sense. I can't see everybody. He does. He does, and he hurts. And I also, in that same sentence, can see in this world We can walk, since we're done, we could walk outside this door. I don't even know who's outside the door. And it'd be pretty easy to be able to guess in the world, go, I bet that person believes that nobody even knows they exist.
Remember, okay, the day I got my head split open,
Mm-hmm.
I've always had a compassion for people. I've always been kind to people. I had said hi to somebody. They were sad. They were walking by, and I said hi. And why are you talking to them? I'm like, because I could have saved somebody's life that day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they might have been on their way to commit suicide, or who knows what they were going to do. And just one person saying hi could change the whole trajectory of their life. And that is why that happened to my head. But you know what? If I had to change it, I would still say hi to that person.
Well, agreed. Yeah. And it's unbelievable, the world that we live in that has such violence like that. And you're sitting out there, you're going, wait, hold on. I guarantee somebody's got to be listening and going, wait, hold on. Did she say, remember that time when my head was split open? Yeah, she
I
did.
would do it again.
She just said that. And it got split open because of why?
I had compassion on somebody.
Spoke to somebody. And somebody said, I'm going to bust her in the head.
Mm-hmm.
That's the world that you have seen. Or, hey, I'm 2 years old, 4 years old, whatever. Oh, well, yeah, it's a 2x4, but that's how we get punished.
Mm.
That's just normal. And the lies begin, okay? Out of that, I want people to hear that Meg now sees that the world it's a beautiful place.
It really is.
It really is. Like, you've seen a lot. Okay, so out of mind, what I would say, because I'm just redneck out in the country, kind of, is, and it's dumb, like all these old sayings, like they've been around forever for a reason, but like the sunrise is the most beautiful after you've gone through a really, really dark night. And you watch it and the darkness just fades and you just go, it's beautiful, you know? And then everybody, you're like, oh man, don't you regret living in the nighttime? Well, no, it's just part of this. But golly, to see the darkness go away and to really appreciate there's so much beauty in life.
Yes, there is.
There is. And then out of this is a response of every day truly is a gift from God.
Yes.
And they're given to us. It's not something I deserve. I'm not a statistic. Oh, well, Jeff, you're supposed to live to be 78. That's the average life expectancy of a male. So, okay, I got whatever, 24 more years left. I'll start doing right in 24 years. But no, we don't know statistically, and I'm not going down that. But every day is a gift.
Yes.
Every person we come in contact with, I'm not even going to go down a huge path. They're beautiful. You know, and what's it kill you to interject just time? Hey, how are you? Not for any other reason other than you do actually care. and like that. And to be how you want the world to be also entails us to be how we want the world to be. If I want it to be loving and kind, I need to be loving and kind. Even though I'm not going to change the world, but I have to at least be what I want it to be.
One of my other favorite quotes is, be the change you wish to see in the world.
Well, that's it. Yep. So what is that goofy movie? Hold on. It's Jim Carrey. His anchor. What? Okay, come on, Bobby. You're going to help me here. He's an anchor person.
Anchorman?
Not Anchorman. Bruce Almighty.
Bruce Almighty.
Yeah, because isn't that the line in that one?
Yeah.
Be the change you want to see in the world.
Yep.
Okay, and so like out of that, and in it, I love some of the scenes in that one, and he follows all these good feeling stories. So, anything else you want to share with us, Meg? You got it on the table? Done? The part I heard recorded is she waived the debt for the picnic table. Didn't you hear that, Bobby? We're gonna.
I did.
Okay.
It's a donation.
Anything else you want to tell us?
No, just I'm grateful to y'all for getting me there and everything y'all went through to get me there, because it was a lot of obstacles that we all had to go through and go over. And like, I couldn't be more grateful. Y'all are literally a saving grace for me. And I appreciate that, and I thank you.
Yeah. And the doctor out there who knows who you are, I won't say your name out loud, thank you for coming to feed my sheep.
Yes.
When all your other compatriots over there would not do a physical at, I don't know, some place that has 2 letters in the name. So nothing negative on that, but we got it. And more importantly, Meg did it.
I did.
I'm proud of you. It
Thank
is
you.
good to see you. Good to
Thank
see
you.
you. And it's good to have a talk with you. And I am so happy, not even just the conversation, but your eyes are so happy now.
Thank you.
And you can see that.
I am a lot happier.
You are. You can see it, and you can see that Meg really is understanding that Meg is worth loving. And that's good.
Yes.
It's good and it's true. Okay. We would tell everybody out there, okay, that I do appreciate y'all taking time to be part of the conversation with Meg. And now what's kind of cool, Meg, is everybody out here who's listened, okay, they will be praying for you as well.
And I appreciate it.
So by name now, they know a little bit about your story. They know a little bit of what they can pray for Meg. And we're going to pray for Meg that her continued life in this form, it keeps on. And that we're going to have another podcast on down the road where we're going to tell even more of the grand adventures that Meg is part of, and it's going to it's going to be a fantastic one as well.
I'm ready for him.
Yeah, and in this chapter as well, we're still trying to figure out for sure what this next little bit looks like. It's going to be challenging as well.
Yes,
There's going to be some difficulties, just like getting into rehab. There's going to be some steps that we're going to have to navigate. But once we get Meg going, her stubbornness and hard-headedness is going to take over, and she will be just fine.
Yes.
She will be
I'm
just
not that
fine.
stubborn no more.
No?
No.
Oh, baloney. Yeah.
I tell you, they have a way of I surrendered.
Yeah.
I'm
But I would say you still are very determined.
very determined.
That's right. Not stubborn.
Yes.
You're right. Stubborn is
Yes.
not as positive, because stubborn you can just fight for the sake of fighting.
Yes.
Okay?
Very determined to keep my life going in a positive direction.
That's right. So in that, I would give you, I'm going to give you a big word here, which I use all the time, is one of my favorite passages. And Jesus resolutely turned his eyes upon Jerusalem, meaning he wasn't stubborn, he wasn't hard-headed. He just focused on where he knew he needed to be, and nothing was going to stop him from getting where he needed to be on our behalf.
Yes.
Okay, and so I like that word resolute because it just sounds really cool to say it. It's a cool word. And so Meg is going to resolutely turn her eyes upon her Jerusalem.
Yes.
And she's going to walk to it.
Yes.
Okay, everybody out there, we would say we have established this truth that we do everything we do here, and we did whatever little we could do for Meg for the simple reason is because she's a person, and we would say people matter.
They do matter.
They do, and we would say on that, Meg is a person and she matters, and she deserves to have somebody fight for her. And we would say to you, if you're listening to this, you are a person as well, and you matter. That's the truth that we are all about, and that is what we do. So I thank y'all, and I hope everybody has a great day. And it was great to see you, Meg.
Nice seeing y'all too.
Yeah.